Hello, my name's Christopher. This is Life After Death Tattoo. Come on inside. Come check out the shop and let me tell you a little bit about us. So let me tell you a little bit about the tattoo shop. Well, first I'll start with myself. My name's Christopher Perrin, and I've been tattooing since 1997. I think I was 22, if I remember right. Is that right? No, 23? I don't know. But anyways, I've been tattooing since 1997. It's 2015, and I opened up this tattoo shop in 2009, and it's actually a fascinating story. And everybody knows I could go on and on talking about different aspects of things that I feel like God's done, but the tattoo shop is so close to my heart. Not because it's the place that I make money, but just because I'm so humbled that God would choose me to be at this place and just watch the cool stuff that he does in people's lives. But in 2009, I had a friend of mine that I was working for, and I had one of my best friend Urban from Sweden. He told me a couple years before that I feel like God's going to have you open up your tattoo shop. And in my heart, I wasn't willing to leave the tattoo shop that I was at until all the things that I was believing for and praying for manifested in the lives that were around me. And God really humbled me at that time. He said, you can trust me with these people. If I'm calling you to move on, then it's time to move on. And so I felt like God was saying, it is time. It's time for you to open up a shop. And God had given me a picture, and it was a really powerful picture. I was in prayer, and I saw myself leaving the tattoo shop that I was working at the time. And I had worked at multiple different tattoo shops, some just incredibly, hard, like a really harsh environment, and some that were, really free and cool as far as tattoo shops. And so anyways, I saw myself leaving that tattoo shop in my picture in this vision, and I didn't have any shoes on. And God told me, I'm taking you to holy ground. And I thought, man, I don't know what that means, but it sounds really promising. And so I can remember for years I would drive by this location and I would pray, God, if you want me to open up a tattoo shop, then this would be such a cool location because it's so close to my house. And so I can remember that the first day I really felt like God was saying, I'm releasing you, and I'm calling you to do this, that I drove by here and this place was for rent. And I looked at the sign, and they wanted way too much money, but I just, obviously felt like it was God. So I called the owner and we talked, and he was telling me somebody else was wanting to open up a tattoo shop here as well. So I just kind of gave it to God. And I can remember I looked all over Costa Mesa, and people were like, nope, no tattoo shops. And I was kind of looking because it was fun for me at the time. But I can remember a week or two after that, I was praying we have a Thursday night prayer group at my best buddy Damon's house. And I can remember thinking and praying, I'm like, God, this isn't fun anymore. I'm tired of looking. I'm just going to give it to you and trust you to bring it when the timing's right and it'll be the right place. And it's funny because one of the guys at the group verbalized exactly that. He's all, you got to practice what you preach. He's all, just focus on God, trust Jesus and believe he'll bring it to you. And I said, yeah, I have been, but it's been fun up until today. I'm just totally fried. I'm tired of getting rejected in a sense. And so that night during prayer, I got a phone call. And when we got done praying, I looked, and it was the owner for the building. And he pretty much said, let's meet. And so we got together, and I told him how much I could afford, and he was saying, I got somebody else that's willing to pay me way more. And I said, hey, it would be, it wouldn't be responsible of me to sign a lease if it was something that I can't afford. That just wouldn't be right for either one of us. And it was cool because I can remember him saying, I don't know what it is, but there's just something about you, and there's just something about you. So yes, I'll do it for the price that you can afford. And I had no way of even affording that at the time. I didn't know how I was going to come up with the money for the first and the last, or all of the stuff that I had to do through the city, all the permits, the health department, all of that stuff. I'm just literally walking through the doors as I feel like God's opening them. And so when he said that, like, okay, I'm going to do it for this price, he's all, I'm going to drop the lease and we'll get together in a couple of days. I thought, oh crap, now what? And so I can remember I called my wife and I said, he said he'll do it for the price that, I felt like it would be God if he said that. And she's all, you need to do it. This is God. And I thought, where did you get all this faith all of a sudden, And I absolutely needed it at that time because this was totally new territory for me. And so I can remember during that time before I ever got the keys or anything like that, like I said, I didn't have the money. I would come here at night after the kids would go to sleep and I would just pray in front of the tattoo shop. And I'm like, God, if this is the place, if this is the holy ground, I just pray that your will would be done here. It wouldn't be about me and it wouldn't be about, fear, making money and all that other crap. It would just be about you and you meeting people here and your will being done in this place. And God has gone so far beyond what I could have ever hoped for when I was praying that, 5 or 6 years ago. And so anyways, at that time I was going up to take care of my grandma every couple weeks to up in LA County. And I was driving up there and I can remember we had gotten together, I was driving up there and I was just praying because I was meeting with the landlord, I think it was the next day, and he called me, he said, okay, I got the lease together, all I need is a check. And I thought, okay, God, you got 24 hours before I meet with this guy. And so I showed up at my grandma's house, and it's an hour up there and up in LA, in Granada Hills, and she was standing at the door when I drove up. And she was like, you need to come inside. I'm like, okay, what's wrong? And so I went in there and she said, God's had me up all night talking to me about you. And she said, there's been stuff going on that you haven't been telling me about. And she's all, you need to tell me everything. And I was like, okay, Grandma. And so I told her, I kind of didn't talk to her a lot about tattooing, even though it's what I did every day, just because she's kind of old school, And so I told her about all of the details and just how the whole thing came about. And I ended up leaving there with the $10,000 check. And it was, part of my inheritance. And she's all, God told me to give you what you need. So, and normally I wouldn't take anything from her, but it was so obviously God. And so it took about $5,000 to get all the paperwork and everything, the leases and everything in order. And I had about $5,000 left to work with to build the tattoo shop. And the shop was a wreck. It was just this empty building with wires hanging down and the false ceilings and everything else. And me and one of my really good friends, thank God for Luke, we came in here and we just gutted the whole entire place. And then God would provide exactly what we needed, like when we needed it. And my friend Luke did so much of the work in here. And I think we spent 300 hours on this place, just getting it to how it is now. And I can remember, I was running out of money, and right when I'd run out of money, God would provide. I can remember I needed to put the floors in the next day because that's where we were at in the process of building the shop, and I didn't have the floors. And I had a guy call me that night, and he said, I don't know why I was thinking about you, but I've got all of this extra linoleum laying around. Do you need it? I'm like, dude, you have no idea. So it was basically one miracle after another miracle. And then finally ended up opening up the tattoo shop. And it's been such a cool journey because as, miraculous as it was, the process of the tattoo shop coming into existence, it's been equally as miraculous, just the people that God's brought in here and the family and the spirit that he's established through this place. We get together 7 days a week and we pray. And we just pray over Costa Mesa, pray over the customers, and just pray for each other. And I know it's just the beginning of what God's doing, in this city. And it's so cool that God would choose a tattoo shop to be part of what's happening in the spirit. And I know when God brings somebody through the doors of that tattoo shop, that he really wants them to encounter his love for them. And I'm incredibly humbled and just so thankful for this shop. And I know there's so much more to look forward to. And, we've seen miraculous things happen. We've seen people, a guy healed of cancer, and we've seen, people getting delivered, and just more so than that, people just getting washed off and just receiving a greater revelation of the Father's love, and just restoring their hope, just, physically and spiritually. And I know there's so much more good stuff to come, and the doors are always open. So I just wanted to share a little bit about the tattoo shop. And this is where the magic happens. I've been working in and out of shops since 1997. And I do a lot of traditional style tattooing, which is the bold lines and the lots of black but bright color, like you would think of old, sailors and stuff. But my heart is really after people that are getting tattoos that are faith-based. They're wanting to express their appreciation for God, or they're just wanting a tattoo as a reminder of God's faithfulness and his promises to them. And I know it's a small niche in the tattoo industry, but I just believe that there's so much purpose and just goodness in those tattoos that are revolving around God's faithfulness and just their relationship with God. And it's been amazing to watch the people that God brings in here. He brings them in at the right time in their life where he really wants to encounter them and reveal his love to them, or free them up, or just whatever. And so this is where I do the tattooing. These are my tattoo machines right here, like a little bats hanging in their cave. My buddy Luke made this. It's so awesome. But the tattoo shop in and of itself is just the building, but I'm so incredibly thankful. Like a church, the tattoo shop is made up of the people that God has brought here. And I may be the only one that does the tattooing, but my friends and my spiritual family that come here on a daily basis as we pray and we seek God and just pray for the customers and stuff, they're really what this place is all about. One of my really good friends, she's like my sister in God, Maida, comes here and she prays in the morning time and just kind of intercedes, and she's been doing it for a good couple of years. She intercedes and prays over the customers way before I come into work. And so when I come in, I have this expectation of, I know God's going to bring people in and he really wants to just reveal his love to them as they're, either spending time here getting tattooed, or if we're just hanging out and talking. So thanks for checking out the tattoo shop. And whether you're coming in to get tattooed, or whether you just wanted to come and hang out and join in our prayer and our worship, you're always welcome. Have a great day.